Alrighty, guys. Yeah, it's here. Oh, Jesus, hit myself in the head. Almost knocked myself out. That'd have been awesome. Here it is. AEON'S End. The new Legacy of GRAVEHOLD expansion. This baby is a mammoth. Huge compared to a lot of the other AEON'S games that I have. It's like 4 times the size of them. I can't believe after what, 3 or 4 years now, and they're still coming out with this much new stuff for this game. That is awesome. As you know, I love AEON'S End. One of my all-time favorite. It is. Now, this is Legacy of GRAVEHOLD. And of course, GRAVEHOLD is the town you fight over to try and survive. Let's see what we have going on now with this. Alright, war between mages is looming. Brahma and the mages of New GRAVEHOLD fight for safety and tradition. Zahana and the mages of Zahir fight for freedom and exploration. With void portals opening and threatening humanity on all sides, the last thing New GRAVEHOLD needs is another reason to fight. Will Brahma and Zahar be able to reconcile their differences, or will the community that survived underground for generations finally be torn asunder? Here we go. The AEON'S End Legacy of GRAVEHOLD contains 2 full intersecting campaigns with branching narratives. In each, you play and upgrade a variety of mages, fight increasingly powerful nemesis, and ultimately get to decide the fate of New GRAVEHOLD itself. At the end of each game, you will choose new upgrades for your characters and unlock new player cards with fresh mechanics to add to the market. At the end of the campaign, you'll have a game that is unique to the story you've crafted, with mages, player cards, nemesis, and basic nemesis cards that can play with all previous AEON End content. So that is what we got going on with the new Legacy of GRAVEHOLD, and you can see, for some reason, part of my shrink wrap is coming off, but that's okay, because we're going to be taking the rest of it off right now, my friends, right now. Dun, 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 dun. And those that are very astute to watching videos on my channel, you would know that there was something a mess not too long ago, because in one of the packages I received, I actually got AEON'S End The Ruins, which is the new small box expansion that came out with this. And so those of you who saw this probably thought, oh, I wonder if Jester's getting Legacy of GRAVEHOLD. I actually pre-ordered this. This game. let me tell you about this game. All right. So, you know, I'm a big AEON'S End. Love my AEON'S End. But this game has got a story to it behind it. All right. So I pre-ordered it on Miniature Market. I pre-ordered it on Miniature Market. And I thought, you know, I'll order it. This is me and Herman Lutman did it. Because we had played AEON'S End together. We really enjoyed it. And I was like, oh, hey, I see they're coming out with a new one. I'm going to pre-order it. And he thought, oh, he's going to pre-order it too. So I think he pre-ordered it as well. And of course, to get the free shipping over there at Miniature Market, you have to have at least $99 worth of stuff. This wasn't enough. So I also pre-ordered the Sorcerer solo expansion that was coming out. And so with the 2 of them pre-ordered, they were supposed to be coming out about the same time. I thought, oh, that's a good idea. I'll just pre-order both of them. I'll just wait and get both of them at the same time. Well, this came out, and after trying to track down the Sorcerer solo expansion or whatever they're calling it, which was, I think, kickstarted last year, and no updates on when it was being arrived. So I ended up chatting with Miniature Market and said, hey, I want to cancel my pre-order because they still had some of these available, and I figured I would just order it and order some more games. And they're like, oh, okay, no problem. Well, I'd already paid for this. So what they had to do was they had to like send me a code. I forget what they called it. They had to send me a code. So then I just put the code in, and it would take off the money that I already paid. It was like $114 and some odd cents for this and the Sorcerer expansion that I pre-ordered. So I already paid for those. So all it was doing was canceling that order. They were going to refund my money, but instead just give me like store credit, and they're going to give me a code, and I just put the code in, and it's $114 and some odd cents. So then I went shopping because they were going to be sending me this code. So I went shopping and was getting ready to order, and I had this in my cart, and I had a bunch of other games in my cart at Miniature Market. And long story short, I waited like all day with things in my cart, and I saw that this game, because it was on sale at the time, kept going from like 13 left, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 left. And I'm like emailing them like, hey, where's my freaking code you guys idiots were supposed to send me? They never sent me my code. So I had to get back on the chat with the support the next day. What the hell are you guys doing? You guys were supposed to, and they tracked it down, and it was some glitch in the system that never, because it has to go through to something, and it never got sent to whoever needed the system, and so they never generated a code for me, so I never got an email. So I basically missed out on ordering this because I canceled my pre-order because I thought, I'll just cancel my pre-order so I can get this and not have to wait on the Sorcerer pre-order to come. But Miniature Market never sent me my code. So I'm like, okay, well, here's the problem. I pre-ordered this game from your site, canceled my pre-order so I could order it, and now they're all sold out. What because you guys didn't send me a code. What the hell? And they're like, well, there's nothing we can do. There's unfortunately, we're sold out of that, and we're not sure when they're going to be back in stock. And I'm like, okay, so I canceled my pre-order with you, and now you're basically telling me to go order from a different company because you guys are idiots, and you guys didn't create the system. You didn't freaking send me my code so I could have ordered it, and instead now I've got to go order it from another place. And they're like, well, I'm sorry, we're going to give you 1,000 points. 1,000 points on your account, which is basically $10. They're giving me $10 off on my next order. So congratulations, Jester. Yeah, because they fucked it up. So then I got to go order it from another place, which is fine. I'll go order it from another place then because you guys are a bunch of idiots. So Miniature Market is on my list because not only that, but the last time I ordered something, so I'm like, okay, this is like a month ago. So I'm going to go and order something from another place now. I go and order this, and I order it. And in the meantime, I'm like, well, I got all that money at Miniature Market stored up. I have my $114, plus I have 110, or I have 1,000 points. So I might as well go ahead and just, order some stuff from them. And I'm going to do that. So I go and do that. And I place my order with Miniature Market on August 18th. And of course, they're in the process of moving. So they say, allow 5 to 7 business days because we're backed up. We're in the process of moving, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm ordering Sleeping Gods and the expansion, so it's no big deal. I don't need that anytime soon. I'll just, order it, and then whenever they get around to shipping it, they ship it to me. That was August 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st. We're now 13 days in. Nothing. I don't hear anything from Miniature Market. Nothing. Not a sound. Not a tweet. Not an email. Nothing. So it said 5 to 7 days. It's now 13 days. All right. Well, I'm going to give them to a few more days here because... So September 1st, September 2nd, September 3rd, September 4th, September 5th comes along, and I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm done. I've had it with these idiots. I swear to God, Miniature Market, I had ordered stuff from them, never had a problem with them. Never had a problem with them until this year. And now I've had 3 problems in a row with them. So I now have another 1,000 points credited on my account because once again, I had to talk to their support and say, okay, I ordered something August 17th or 18th, August 18th. It is now September 5th, which is 23 days. Where the hell is my order? And of course, they looked it up on the system and they're like, well, I don't know. I have to try and get a hold of the manager of the warehouse for some reason. The support guy couldn't get a hold of the manager in the warehouse. And he's like, well, I can't tell you what's going on with the order because I can't get a hold of the manager in the warehouse. And I'm like, well, okay, dude. Well, I don't care if you can get a hold of him or not. I want my fucking order because you guys fucking screwed it up the first time. Now I have all this money, so I have to spend it in your place, even though I don't want to because I went and ordered this someplace else. So where's my shit? Send me my stuff. And, basically they're like, well, I'm going to give you 1,000 points credited to your account. So now I literally have 2,000 more points credited to my account because all they do is keep fucking around and messing up on their place. So that's the story with AEON'S End. It's been a long time getting here, so that's why I'm kind of excited it's actually here because finally, yes, I had it pre-ordered at Miniature Market, which fucking screwed me out of it and made me go order from another place. And then they screwed up my second order that was credited to my account because they didn't get the pre-order because they went and sold out of the game because they never sent me my code to my refund for $114 and some odd cents. So 2 times in a row, they fucking screwed up. So guess what? Once I spend my $20 they owe me, I'm not ordering from them anymore because they're a bunch of fuck ups. I can get my orders from other places and they come quicker and easier. So they done messed up. They're a bunch of idiots. So if you guys are ordering something, I don't know if you want to order from Miniature Market. So that's the long story about AEON'S End and why it's taken me so long to actually get it. Not my fault. Let's see what's in this massive box. So the problem is that you have been doing too good of a job getting guys like me who used to only play sports games, and now I'm buying war games that can't handle the volume anymore. Oh, my friend, if you only knew, I just placed a big order today. Noble Knight has got their 25th anniversary. So like everything is marked down. 99% of the stuff on their site is marked down. So I placed a huge, pretty big order today. And that should be in next week sometime. It's a mammoth. Well, it's actually not that many games. The problem was they were very expensive games because they were very rare games. I wanted to get a couple of the rare ones. Anyways, so I order most of my stuff that you can't find anywhere else anymore from Noble Knight. And I'm trying to get some of my Arkham Horror second edition, revised edition, second edition, whatever you want to call it. And it's like each expansion's like $140 a piece. So yeah, it was a massive order because I bought like 3 or 4 of the expansions, Plus, there was another game that I wanted that had an expansion that was super rare. It was like $200. So it's not even that many games, but it was expensive. But I'm figuring it was like saving me $400 if, because of the sale going on. And I'm like, just the one game alone was like $85 off. So I'm like, yeah, if you're going to get it, you might as well get it while they're having the sale. You're going to get it eventually. So anyways, let's see what's in the box here. That's my story. Here's what I would say. Yeah, if you're ordering games and you're looking for a place to order from, don't order from Miniature Market. These guys are a bunch of idiots now. I don't know if they switched ownership or if they switched companies or if there's new people working there. I don't know. Like I said, I never had any problems with them up until this year. And now, last three orders in a row, they have messed it up so bad that they had to, first of all, and I hate to keep harping on this, but first of all, what company basically tells you, oh, sorry, we fucked up, you got to go get your stuff someplace else? And that's pretty much what they told me. We don't have AEON'S anymore, even though you had pre-ordered it, because you canceled your pre-order and we didn't send you the code we were supposed to send you, and now we're out of them, so there's nothing we can do. We'll order more of them, but we're not sure when they're going to come in. Okay, so what you're telling me is go order from another place because you guys messed up. Is that what you're telling me? It's like, no, we want you to order from us, but we don't have any. Well, that's why I canceled my pre-order, is so that I could order from you guys. And now you've messed up. So now I've got to go order from someplace else. So congratulations on messing up, because now I'm going to go spend my money on another place. Read this first. Welcome to the Legacy of Gravehold. Everything you need to play this game is in this box. It's important that you do not open or read anything before instructed to do so. If you are concerned that a deck might be missing a card, you can check the card number. Each deck starts and ends with the stop card, with the first and last number of the deck. All the cards are in numerical order. You should never shuffle these decks. If you are concerned that an envelope is missing an item or the wrong number, check the number of items listed on the back of the envelope, then check to make sure that all the items in the envelope have the number of the envelope shown on it somewhere, usually at the bottom of the back. If you do not know the story of the previous AEON'S endgames, or you would like to refresh it, read previously below, then start the campaign by reading the prologue on page 1 of the rulebook. If you've been following along, which we have been following along, of course we have been. We've played through all of them so far. Yeah, this is just the rule book with the updated information on it. Okay. So you're going to choose to either play the GRAVEHOLD or Azir campaign. Then if you choose GRAVEHOLD, open the GRAVEHOLD book and begin reading on page 1. If you choose the Azir, open the Azir book and begin reading on page 1. All right. So we have the GRAVEHOLD narrative and the Azir narrative. So different campaigns going on at the same time. Let's see what else we have in here. Find sticker sheet 2, section 2, and add this enhancement to your GRAVEHOLD barracks. Find sticker sheet 6, section 3, and add sticker H to your rulebook. There's a typo in the first section of page 33 of the GRAVEHOLD narrative booklet. Apply this sticker over the third paragraph. Okay. Do not open until the end of the campaign. Ooh, we could open it. I mean, we could break the rule. Look, it's open. All right, we won't look. We won't peek. All right, so we have our GRAVEHOLD or Azir. Azir. the Southern Outpost, Farron, the Forest Clearing, the Ruins, New Gravehold, and the Northern Outpost. Holy cow. That is a massive envelope. Insights, Legacy of Gravehold. Ooh, what do you think we have in there? We got some tokens. We got more tokens, damage tokens, nemesis tokens, charge tokens, turn order. We got a bunch of cards, as you can probably see. Being as though it's a deck building game, I would assume there's going to be a lot of cards. Well, that's a lot of nice, super cool cards. And we have dials and tracks, and of course, the envelopes. Envelope 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 envelopes. Oops. Got one that's popping his lid open there. Do anything falling out there? Got a bunch of breaches, some dials to keep track of life. All right. So I guess the big thing is we have to decide, as I'm punching these out, which won't take very long at all. Looks like we're going to have to play one of two campaigns, either the Legacy of Gravehold or the Legacy of Azir. Which one do you guys sounds more interesting? If you've followed along with what's going on with the Gravehold and the Legacy of Gravehold, if you know what's going on, let me know down in the comments section down below. And say which one would you rather play? The Legacy of Gravehold or the Legacy of Azir? So we will refresh your memory as soon as I got these punched out. What each one is standing for. Wow. That's interesting. Sparks are, no, that's not. What are those? Oh, those are power tokens. Okay. I'm like, I thought these are sparks for a second. That would have been crazy. Don't you fall off the table. At least check the backside, my friends. I'm telling you, you'll save yourself a lot of headache and a lot of heartache. Always check the backside. I don't know how many times I went to punch something out and looked on the backside and there was, oh look, there's tokens sitting there on the back that didn't actually fall off. I should check the backside. All right. I'm interested to find out how much new stuff is in this, considering we've had quite a bit of AEON'S N released through the years. And I didn't think they were going to come out with anything else. I thought, you know, they kind of had run through its course and kind of were done with it. But I guess they decided they could come up with enough new stuff to make another big box. So, I mean, it's not even this is like a mammoth sized box compared to, I did not get the first Legacy game. Aeon's End Legacy, the original one that came out. It's the only one I did not get. Maybe I should get that. So I think it's probably the only thing for Aeon's End that I don't actually technically own. And the problem is, you know, if you get somebody else's copy, then they've already went through it. I could go through it again. It's not that big a deal, but mostly I don't use these health tokens anyways. I use dice instead. Like, they should have included a bunch of little dice. How much cheaper would that have been for the company to just include a bunch of little 6 and 8 and 10-sided dice instead of all these little tokens? I think it wouldn't have cost much more money than that. Would have been so much better. Anywho's, hope you enjoyed my story about Miniature Market. I can't believe they are really disappointed me. I used to love Miniature Market, and I don't know, they just fallen from grace, that is for sure. There's the backside, that's it. So, alright. So, Alright. So here's what happened. We're going to go through the previously, just in case there was something we did miss previously. There's the story so far. So GRAVEHOLD is the city that humanity's last bastion of hope. Oh, look. GRAVEHOLD, the last bastion of humanity. The great underground city was thrown into chaos when a mage named Zaxos experimented with the forbidden void magic and accidentally drew a powerful nameless called Maelstrom into the city. So this is kind of a funny thing. They originally called the nemesis nameless, but then every one of them has a name. So void magic, and accidentally drew a powerful nameless called Maelstrom into the city. Isn't that funny? So in the same sentence, the powerful nameless called Maelstrom. Even the combined strength of all the mages was not enough to defeat it, and a young prodigy named Desmodia was forced to sacrifice herself with one final attack that brought down not only Maelstrom, but the entire city of GRAVEHOLD itself. The remaining mages made their way to the surface and set to work constructing a new city that would be called New GRAVEHOLD. Their leader, a mage called Brahma, had grown wary of the dangerous void magic that had destroyed their home and began exiling any mage who dabbled with it or who followed Zaxos' teachings. Zahana, a good friend and old mage comrade of Brahma, couldn't stand Brahma's strict edicts against magical experimentation, so she left, traveling south. In her travels, Zahana discovered that the people of GRAVEHOLD were not the only ones left in the world, as they always assumed. The village of Azir was just one of several small communities spread out across the surface of the world. From the Azirians, Zahana learned the art of glyph magic that can be used to influence and control the nameless themselves. She used this magic to try and attack New GRAVEHOLD with a nameless called Necroswarm. She only made it as far as New GRAVEHOLD's southern outpost before Necroswarm was defeated, and the news that there was a traitor mage trying to overthrow Brahma spread like wildfire. Her identity, however, was largely unknown. Zahana herself returned to the village of Azir and was joined by her son Tarquin, who had put together what had happened and wanted to hear her side of the story. The group was then approached by Zaxos, who has been living in the void ever since his own disgraceful exit from New GRAVEHOLD. He had developed a way to travel safely through the void without incurring the dangerous mind-altering effects of its atmosphere, and he asked Zahana and her party to come with him into the void. His hidden goal was to defeat a Nameless, which could collect the life essence of mages who died in battle and reconstruct them as monsters. Upon defeating this Nameless, the Fountain of Souls, Zahana and Zaxos parted ways. Zaxos took the previously deceased mage Desmordia, Archnos, and Thyrax, who had been previously turned into Nameless by the Fountain of Souls. While Zahana left the void with her son and their friends, they returned to New Greyhold, intent on convincing Brahma to open her mind and learn about the void. So that is previously what was happened. All right, so let's see what we got here for the prologue. The halls of elders is nearly empty this time of day. The sun is slipping low enough to cast long beams of sunlight across the wooden floor. Burma sits alone at her desk, finishing reading over a proposal to begin the training of the next generation of mages. Thinking of the young mages makes Brahma think of Desmodia, taken from Greyhold all too soon by her own heroic sacrifice in the battle against Maelstrom. Brahma lets the papers go lax as her grip as she thinks of the horrific events leading up to the fall. She's considered Zaxos a trusted ally and a close personal friend, but his foolish experimentation with void magic had nearly cost them everything. Brahma had to bury too many children. She can't let it happen again. But it's been more than a month since she learned that there is a traitor mage amongst the Council of Elders. Every member of the council was someone Brahma had trained alongside or mentored personally, and before now she would have said she trusted them each with her life. But one of them has turned on their brethren and led Necrostorm to attack the southern outposts. Brahma didn't want to believe it, but she was too old to wallow in hopeful delusions. She trusted Zaxos too, and look where that had gotten her. No more trust. The door to the hall swings open, and Brahma rises from her desk in shock as Zahana strolls boldly inside. Brahma can barely make out the faces of her companions where they stand, silhouetted dark against the sun. The rest stay in the doorway while Zahana approaches. Brahma receives her staff from where it sits, leaning against her deck, and goes to meet her halfway. Zahana, Brahma begins, with her voice betraying nothing. No one has seen you for over a month. Where have you been that was more important than protecting your home? New Greyhold is not my home. Our home was lost decades ago beneath the crumbling earth. Zahana rests a hand casually on one of her dual blades, and Brahma is too wise not to consider it a threat. Are you aware that there's a traitor into New Greyhold? Zahana stiffens at Brahma's words. I am. Are you sure that you went missing just before the traitor's mage was spotted? I'm aware of that as well. Brahma leans heavily against her staff. Sometimes her many years feel like too heavy a burden to bear. You're not going to defend yourself? I didn't come here to defend myself. I came here to explain. Now you sound like Zaxos. Brahma shakes her head disappointingly. Do you think you can justify the lives you took? Zahana glares at Brahma, refusing to back down. I'd rather be with Zaxos than with you. At least he's attempting to change things for the better. You were with the Zaxos. Brahma raises her eyebrow. Briefly, recently, he took me into the void. Zahana sweeps an arm behind her, accompanies the mage standing at the door. He brought all of us. And now I've come to share what I've learned with you, Brahma. We can't can't imagine the void or the power there. It is drawing energy from our world, whether we like it or not. I don't know what the answer to humanity's salvation is, but I do know that we're more likely to find it if we're not cutting ourselves off from half the resources of our world. The void is what caused this all in the first place. Brahma strikes her staff on the ground once, the sound ricocheting through the empty chamber. You meddle with dark forces you do not understand. You're putting everyone around you at risk. People I've sworn to protect. Maybe you can accept the people of South Post as acceptable losses for progress, but I cannot. What happened at the South Post was a tragedy, Brahma. It wasn't my intention to. In the world ran of good intentions, we would still have Greyhold. Brahma turns away from Zahana, walking back towards her desk. You betrayed me and your fellow mages. You're no longer welcome in New Greyhold. You just can't. Zahana trails off. You can't just exile everyone who dares to disagree with you. What about the council? The council already ruled that anyone associated with Zaxos presents a real and present danger to the city, and we should be removed. Be grateful I am not yet hunting you down for your transgressions. I refuse to allow a threat to New Greyhold to persist. Brahma turns her head, glancing to Zahana from the corner of her eye. You can leave of your own volition, or I can summon your fellow mages to have you removed. Zahana's eyes burn with rage. This isn't over, she snaps before turning around and storming out of the halls of elders. All right, so here we are. Choose to either play either the Gravehold or the Azir campaign. Then, if you choose Gravehold, open the Gravehold book and begin reading page 1. If you choose Azir, open the Azir book and begin reading that page. What is new? If you're familiar with AEON'S, all of this will look familiar. All the usual rules still apply, but there are also a few new rules. Below, it's a reference for those new rules. Additionally, new rules will be stricken in the rule book as the campaign progresses. Fire tokens, Azir tokens, cross out, boost and overheat, and there is a refresher on important game turns. Well, my friends, I think it's decision time. We either are playing the Greyhold or Azir campaigns. We've gone through the previous story. We've gone through the prologue. It is now up to us to decide, do we play with Azir and the campaign that is in this book, or do we go with the new Greyhold narrative book and play through this campaign? That is the decision that will guide us through this Legacy of Greyhold. I think we are making our decision right here, right now, and we are going to go with Azir. We're going to go with Azir, I believe. Inside's Legacy. This is not giving us any information about what we need to do or anything. These are all like probably stickers and stuff that are going to change rules. All right. Let's see what we have. Oh my gosh, another page or two here. All right, here we go. Here is the Azir campaign. If you do not want to have anything spoiled, I would recommend that you tune out now, because we are going to be reading and spoiling the story, and we're going to be setting up the first campaign here for the Azir. Now, if you plan on playing the Greyhold one, then you can probably stick around and enjoy our playthrough. So, Azir narrative book. Mother, please calm down. Tarquin rests his hand on Zahana's shoulder as they exit the gates of New Greyhold for what might be the last time in his life. She is shaking, shoulders trembling from the strain of holding in her indentation. I wouldn't mind being exiled, Zahana snapped, pulling her shoulder out from beneath Tarquin's hand. I wouldn't even begrudge Brahma's exiling you and Q from the only home you've ever known. It isn't her actions that I find unforgivable, it's her intentions. The moment a city has a leader who will not listen, who is not open to debate and change, but would rather silence any dissent, that is when she is too powerful for too long. She's putting all of her people at risk. Selfish, outdated beliefs. But she is the leader of her people. Tarquin looks behind him, tilting his head back to take in the towering expanse of New Greyhold's mighty walls. It is an imposing structure, standing out tall from the clearing forest around it. But you can barely see the colored pennants of the marketplace peeking over the stone. The people don't know what she stands for. They follow her blindly, unquestionably. It's quite the high opinion of your people you have there, Kel says, clearly impressed. How long have you been living so deeply entrenched in ignorance? Too long. Zahana reaches the tree line to the forest to the south of New Greyhold and stops, turning to face the ragged team she has assembled there. Her son Tarquin and Zaxos' own daughter Q, as well as the pair of tethers from Azir, Kel and Lila. This doesn't have to be your fight, Zahana begins, but Q cuts her off. We are all with you in the void, Zahana. We saw the fortune of souls taking the ether of our fallen mages and twisting it into something monstrous. We decided together that we'd return to Brahma and try and change her mind. Our world and the world of the Nameless are already entangled. We can't just go back to hiding our heads in the sand and pretending they're not. Besides, Awa adds, slipping her arm through Kel's and resting against her side, New Greyhold isn't an island. The actions of your city, intentional or not, have been disrupting the natural patterns of the Nameless in the forest. Everything has become more dangerous. It won't stop until we make it stop. What are you all implying? We should attack New Greyhold? Tarquin takes a step back, looking over the group with a vague horror in his eyes. These are our people, our friends. Your friends, Kel mutters. I don't want there to be any bloodshed. Zahana reached up instinctively to pull her cloak tight around her shoulders, but she doesn't have it anymore. Zaxos has it. Whatever he is now, wandering through the void. But I am not naive enough to think that this will be peaceful. We cannot fight against New Greyhold, Mother. There are only 5 of us. Then let's hope fighting isn't necessary. Zahana pulls her hood up, casting her face into shadows. Until then, I'm going to gather as much help as I can find. Brahma has made more enemies than just me in her time in command. And us? You 4 should head back to Azir. We can regroup there and find out what to do. If it isn't too late already. Lala begins to ask about Zahana means by that, but before she can, Zahana is already racing off, ducking into the tree line and vanishing from sight. Isla sighs deeply before turning to the others. Back to Azir, I suppose. Back to Azir, I suppose. Keep your eyes peeled for Nameless, Tarquin cautions as he begins leading the group south. This area is dangerous to travel through, no matter how many times you've done it. Maybe for you, Kel snorts, us Azirians have spent generations learning how to safely traverse the forest. The small band of mages begin their travel with Kel and Isla leading them comfortably through the woods to the south of New Greyhold. As they go, they carve magic glyphs into the trees to subtly influence any nameless who might be there in a different direction. See? As long as you don't make a huge nuisance of yourself by cutting down half the forest and building a big city in the middle of it, you can travel easy enough. Cal holds up a dangling vine and waits for the other three ducking behind it. Sure, that's easy to say when Azir has a third of the populace of New Gravehold, Tarquin counters amicably. We need space for farms, or else we'd be able to feed ourselves. Have you considered not? Cal cuts off as Isla grabs her arm and tugs him sharply backwards. The previous open path in front of them is suddenly cracked down the center by a mass of black veins pulsing in midair. The mages stare in horror as a void portal coils into existence in front of their very eyes. This is exactly what I meant, Kel snaps. Your cursed city is disrupting everything. Not our city anymore, Q says. Not the time. Il grabs Kel's hand and they march, and their matching tattoos begin to glow with a powerful light. The four mages stare forward at the dark, swirling portal in front of them as a humanoid figure steps out of it. The man or creature, whatever it is, seems to take a long, deep breath. Although it's impossible to see, the heavy, draping fabric obscures its entire form. When it speaks, the voice is undeniably female, and she sounds as though she is snarling. You smell like the void. The cloaked figure lifts a hefty tone in front of her, easing it open to a page somewhere near the center. And yet you do not comprehend its truth. And what you do, Kel snaps. Who even are you? I am simply here to help, of course. To help you discover the limits of your true abilities. Though the void portal still swirls behind me, creatures begin to pour like water, their bodies composed of a thick and viscous liquid that starts to slowly form into individual shapes. My creatures, the woman coos, as if the purple monstrosities swirling all around them were her own children. I think it's time for them, like you, to reach their full potential. So here we go. Dun, dun, dun. Open envelope number 4. Open envelope number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Envelope number 4. Hey, Richard, how you doing? So open envelope 4. These are your mages for the game. Let's see what we get. Whoop, that's it. That's all we get. So we have Q, which is the daughter of Zaxos. I wonder, are these feed the corruption. Activate during your main phase. Any ally draws 2 cards. Any player destroys up to 2 cards in hand or discard pile. We have Tarquin. Guardian Strength. Activate during your turn. Focus any player's breach or ally preps a spell into one of their open or closed breaches. Repeat this 3 times. We got Kel. Source of Ether. Absorb Ether. Activate during your main turn. An ally places up to 2 cards from their hand or discard pile into your discard pile. Then, if you have 10 or more cards in your discard pile, shuffle any player's turn order card into the turn order deck. And Alia. We'll go with Alia. Surge of Power. Activate during your main phase. Reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Place any number of spells revealed this way into your hand. You may prep spells to close breaches this turn. You may prep up to 2 spells to each of your breaches this turn. Oh, what do we have here? We have Destroyer. Gain 1 ether and 1 charge. And we have Builder. Gain 1 ether, start. And we have some special mage breaches. Okay. All right, let's see what we get here. So open envelope 4, open deck. These are your mages. Open deck AZ-A1. This is your starting supply. So we're looking for deck AZ-A1. Oh my gosh. This might be a problem. How do you know? Okay. What am I looking for? I'm looking for open deck AZ-1A. AZ-1A. Open deck AZ-1B. AZ-1B. These are the starter cards and turn order cards for your mages along with player aids. Then open envelope 1 and deck BS. Do not shuffle deck BS. Set aside the top 9 cards of the deck. These cards are the unnamed deck. Let's see. The remaining cards are the Nemesis deck. If you're playing with 1, 2, 3 players, discard the top 5, 7, 3 cards. Defend the forest clearing from Bishop of Scrolls. If you win your game versus Bishop of Scrolls, read section 74. If you lose, read section 77. All right, open deck 1. AZ-1A. So let's open this deck open. Let's see what's in this deck. All right, so these are going to be all of the cards in the supply. Okay. Open deck AZ-1B, which is this one. These are the starter cards and turn order cards for your mages along with player aids. Dun 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 dun. Where's our enemy? Oh, look, it's got a like an open thing where, yeah, you're going to be putting stickers on here to change. Okay, that's crazy. 200 cards. Nemesis cards. Player cards. Okay. All right. So, then open envelope 1. Oh, we need envelope 1. And deck BS. This is probably going to be the Nemesis. It is. Oh, he's got more stuff in here. All right. The Bishop of Scrolls. 50 health. Unleash. Draw a card from the unnamed deck and place it into play. Additional rules: when an unnamed is placed into play, do not place its persistent effect. Do not resolve its persistent effect during the Nemesis main phase this turn. When an unnamed is discarded, place it in the unnamed discard pile. When an unnamed deck is emptied or an unnamed would be drawn, shuffle the unnamed discard pile face down and form a new unnamed deck. If there are no new cards, if there are no new cards in the unnamed deck or discard pile, when an unnamed would be drawn, resolve the persistent effect of each unnamed in play. If there is ever no unnamed cards in play, no cards in the unnamed discard pile, or no cards in the unnamed deck, the players lose. At the end of the game, if there are 8 or more cards under this mat, randomly banish cards until there are 7 cards remaining. At the end of the game, if there are fewer than 5 cards under this mat, resolve the persistent effect of the unnamed with the most letters in its name until there are 5 cards under this mat. At the end of the game, once there are 5 to 7 cards under this mat, place all of the cards under this mat into envelope 15 and reseal the envelope. All right, setup. Place the unnamed deck face down next to this mat. Place the unnamed into play and resolve its immediate effect. Place another unnamed into play and resolve its immediate effect. In a 1, 2, or 3 player game, place a third unnamed into play and resolve its immediate effect. Okay. Crazy nonsense going on here. All right. Do not shuffle deck BS. We do not shuffle this deck because it's set up for a specific purpose. So we will take that card off. We don't need that one. I don't know why I save these cards, but I do because I'm dumb, I guess. All right, the unnamed. So, set aside the top 9 cards of the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, they're all the unnamed. These cards are the unnamed deck. The remaining cards are the Nemesis deck. Here's the Nemesis deck. If you are playing with 1, 2, 3 players, discard the top 7, 5, or 3 cards. So we're going to play with 2 mages. So we're going to discard 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we will discard the top 5 cards. We're going to play with 2 mages. I always play with just 2. I don't want to have to try and run 4 mages. That's pretty, no, not really looking forward to that. Discard the top. Okay. the Bishop of Soul Scrolls. We'll give him 50 health. And probably going to have to go to dinner here in a minute anyways. So we'll get things set up and then we'll probably start in the next episode. All right, so I think we get 30. Let's put these there. These are... these are the 5 cards we will not be using. We need a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2. And we need 2 Nemesis. And the rest of these can... We don't need the rest of those. Gonna keep these with this and all these. $50 health, congratulations. Here's your deck. We don't need you. We don't need any of this. Alright. That is his deck of cards there. Alright, now we need to set up our... let's go ahead and move this. Alright, so we have the Nebula Shard, gain 2 ether, or gain 1 ether for each spell you cast during your casting phase. So if you cast a lot of spells, alright, that's interesting. That's kind of cool. Alright. We have Irradiated, it's cost 3. Irradiated Jewel, which costs 4. This is interesting. It's got 2 symbols on it. I've never seen those symbols before. Let's see if it tells us what those symbols are. Irradiated Jewel. Gain 2 ether. You may reveal the top card of the turn order deck to gain an additional 1 ether. If a player card is revealed, overheat this card. If this card is fully overheated, destroy it, and Gravehold suffers 3 damage. So that, it must be the overheat. So you may reveal the top card of the turn order deck to gain an additional 1 ether. If a player card was revealed, overheat this card. Uh-oh. Now we've got something else going on here. What is this? Leviathan Shell, gain 2 ether. If you have played 2 or more other gems or relics that cost 3 or more this turn, boost this. Gain an additional 1 ether for each boost mark on this card. It is a gem. We have the Shifter Cloak, cost of 3. Looks like it's got 2 boosts on it. Focus any player's breach. If that breach is opened this way, boost this. If this card is fully boosted, cast any player's prep spell. It deals an additional 1 damage. If this card is fully boosted, cast any player's prep spell. It deals an additional 1 damage. So, okay. Then we have Lightbringer Staff. The players collectively destroy up to 2 cards in their hands, or silence up to 2 minions, or destroy this. Remove a fire token from your location on the map. And we have the Ether Ripple. Cast. Deal 2 damage. Each ally gains an Ether token. Cost of 3. I think what we're going to do, we're going to move this Yahoo over here. I'm going to move these up here. One, two, three, four. Yeah, okay. We have the Douse, cost of 4, cast, deal 3 damage. You may destroy this. If you do, remove a fire token from your location on the map. Once again, with our location on the map. Cost of 5, backfire, cast, deal 4 damage. You may lose 1 charge to return this to your hand. Oh, that's really cool. Cool little power there. Slide this over. And the Parigum Flux cast. Remove up to 2 shield tokens from a minion. Deal 5 damage. Costs 7 shield tokens. Well, we got a whole bunch of stuff to find out about, actually. We got to find out about overheat. We're going to find out about boosts. We're going to find out about fire tokens on our location in the map. That's all crazy stuff. That is crazy nonsense. We also have to decide which mages we're going to take into the fight. And we're going to bring that there. So we have complexity 3, 4, 3, 4. Complexity rating 3. Let's see what we have here. So we have a crystal, 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 and shared heart. That's going to be for her right here. Illa. Shared heart. Cast. Deal 1 damage if you are Isla. Deal 1 additional damage. Or cast. Deal 1 damage if you are Kill. Gain a life. So that is going to be your starting hand. I think we will use Isla and Kel. That's going to be your starting hand. And this will be her two crystals. 1, 2, entangled tourmaline. And then 2 sparks. Yep. Okay, so that will be your draw. And then, let's see here. We have 2, 2, 3, split soul and a spark. That's her starting hand. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and a spark. Yep, okay. That'll be her draw hand. And these would be for the other mages that we're not playing with. All right, so let's learn about Kel here. So again, she's the source of Aether. She will be player number 2. And she will have 10 life once we. All right, activate during your main phase. An ally places up to 2 cards from their hand or discard pile into your discard pile, and then if you have 10 or more cards in your discard pile, shuffle any player's turn order card into the turn order deck. So, getting lots of cards for Kel. She's going to take 2 cards from her ally and place 2 of them into her discard pile, and she has 10 or more. All right, so she wants to buy a lot of cheap cards and get lots of them out there. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Let's see. See if they have any special Isla, and I didn't plan to get mixed up in any of this. Our elders teach us to care for strangers as we would care for our own teacher, and when she stumbled across our village, Sahana was certainly about as strange as anyone gets. Even Isla had delighted to learn all her strange magic, the way she opened her breeches, her attunement to the great wells of ether trapped inside gems and geodes instead of the little bits of azure found flowing through every living being. We taught her, she taught us, and we assumed it would end there. Now dragging halfway through the void and facing doom from what seemed to be yet another apocalyptic threat, I found myself wondering how we get here. These are not our leaders. These are not our fights. New Greyhold made it our problem. When we emerged from the underground world and began disrupting the natural pattern of the surface, Portal-born, and this is the only reason I'm still fighting now, to protect my people, my village, my beloved Isla. These are the only things that truly matter. All right, yeah, so here we go. I don't think, where is, these must be our mage. These must be our mages here. There we go. All right, she is a 4 that way. See, these are all 4s. Okay. She is a 3 that way as well. Player number 2, 10 life. 3, 3, 3, 3. 2 is down and 1 is open. All right. Then for Isla here, she is the force of ether. She'll be player number 1. Surge of power. Activate during your main phase. Reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Place any number of spells revealed this way into your hand. You may prep spells to close breaches this turn. You may prep up to 2 spells to each of your breaches this turn. What's going on, Thorough 4? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see you. We were getting ready to actually break here. We're going to be breaking to eat, and then we're gonna come back, start the new campaign, the new AEON'S End campaign. Isn't that exciting? So player number 3 will be like that. Number 2 is open. That's nice. And number 1 is open as well. All right, open to the right and to the right. All right, so that is that. We have our, I'm assuming we need this. Nothing I've come across actually says we need it, but we will, let's see. I put this there. I guess we'll put this over there. We will put this away. We don't need that. Don't need these cards. All right, let's see what this. We don't need this. This is his. This is his thing. All right. So again, he's got a lot of rules. He starts with 50 health. Unleash. Draw a card from the unnamed deck and place it. So this is his special unnamed deck. We're not supposed to be shuffling this or that. I don't believe. All right, so when an unnamed is placed into play, do not resolve its persistent effect during the Nemesis main phase this turn. When an unnamed is discarded, place it in the unnamed discard pile. When the unnamed deck is empty and the unnamed would be drawn, shuffle the unnamed discard pile face down to form a new unnamed. So basically, go through these when we kill them, put them up here, and then shuffle that deck when it needs. All right, there are no cards in the unnamed deck or discard pile when an unnamed would be drawn. Remove the persistent effect of... Wait, say that again. If there are no cards in the unnamed deck or discard pile when an unnamed would be drawn, resolve the persistent effect of each unnamed in play. So if we can't draw anybody and there's nobody in the discard pile, then we activate the persistent effect of all of the unnamed that are in play. If there are ever no unnamed cards in play, no cards in the unnamed discard pile, and no cards in the unnamed deck, the players lose. So if there's no discard pile, there's none there, and there's none there, then we're going to immediately lose. At the end of the game, if there are 8 or more cards under this mat, so he's going to summon them, I believe, under him. And there's 8 or more under this mat, randomly banish cards until there's 7. At the end of the game, if there are fewer than 5 cards under this mat, resolve the persistent effect of the unnamed with the most letters in its name until there are 5 cards under this mat. At the end of the game, once there are 5 to 7 cards under this mat, place all of the cards under this mat into envelope 15 and re-seal the envelope. So we'll see this guy again, I bet, later on. All right, setup. Place the unnamed deck face down next to this mat. Place an unnamed into play and resolve its immediate effect. So place an unnamed into play and resolve its immediate effect. So an unnamed, let's see what the unnamed is. Minion unnamed, it's a 3. It's a purpley guy, just like our story. Immediate. Choose a 5-letter name and write it here. Open deck E and read card L2E-02. Oh my gosh. Oh no. I see, this is why I don't play these games, because I don't like ruining my stuff. So we have to like literally choose a 5-letter name and write it here. And then open and write it here. And then open deck E and read card L2E02. Choose a 5-letter name and write it here. 5-letter name. I can't even think of a 5-letter name. 5-letter name. Jesus. I wonder, do we actually write it? Do I actually write it? Do I ruin my card by writing my own name on it? And then we got to open deck E. So I need a 5. Maybe should we do it with pen? Maybe. A 5-letter name. 5-letter name. I know I am tortured over this. I take such good care of my stuff. I sleeve it and I take care of it, and now it wants me to like draw on it. How is that even fair? That's not right. Before I look at that card, though, I want to come up with a 5-letter name. I can think of a lot of 4-letter names, but I can't think of any 5. Bart, no, that's 4. Steve, Steve, that's 5. Steve, Steve. So it says choose a 5-letter name and write it here. We're gonna Steve, Steve. Can't believe I'm writing on a card. That is crazy. I've never done this. And we're going to read card L2E02. L2E02. Okay, here we go. Write the name you chose for a card L2BS41. Yep, that's this card. On card L2E03. Write the name you chose for card L2BS41. That's this. On card L2E03. If the name starts with a vowel, cross out the first persistent effect on the card. Otherwise, cross out the second persistent effect. So it does not start with a vowel. So, oh no. All right, so we are going to write Steve. We are writing on cards again. Steve. Persistent. No. Where were we? It was a 02. And that's this one here. Oops. Somehow that got moved down. All right, so so this is going to come back to haunt us later, I bet. Okay, if the name starts with a vowel, cross out the first persistent effect on the card. Otherwise, cross out the second persistent effect. So we will cross out. Actually, what I'm going to do is just put a X next to this one. I'm not going to cross it out. That's so. Then place that card under the Bishop of Scrolls Nemesis mat and banish L2 BS 41. Then place that card. So write the name you chose for L2BS41 and card L2E03. That's this card. If the name starts with the vowel, cross out the first persistent effect on the card. Otherwise, cross out the second persistent effect on the card. Then place that card under the Bishop of Scrolls Nemesis mat. Okay, so that's going to go under the Bishop. So then place the card under the Bishop of Scrolls Nemesis mat and banish L2 BS 41. So that banishes this card. Banish it. Okay? Banish, I guess, means remove it, right? That's what it says. It says then place that card on the Bishop Scroll map and then banish card L2 BS 41. L2 BS 41. Banish. Banish it. I guess. Just put it out of play. All right. So that was Place the unnamed deck face down next to this mat. Place an unnamed into play and resolve its immediate effect. Place another unnamed into play and resolve its immediate effect. So the next one is going to be this one. If there is no name below, choose a 6-letter name and write it there. Oh, we're going to do it again. Okay, so we're going to do this effect again. All right, well, I got to run. We will finish this next time we get together here. Once we get everything ready to go, we're going to take a break for dinner. We'll be back in a little bit. All right, guys, talk to you later. Take care. Thanks for coming out. We'll see you soon.